Courage and honesty, fellow netizens. I am Bill. Today, I am going to be speaking about two things. The first is how I became a Christian. The second is some theological triage on a particular theological belief related to when one becomes Christian. For context, I have stated in a previous video that I have been an adherent of Protestant Christianity my entire life, and that my particular denominational affiliations have been Baptist, Methodist, and Pentecostal. For the sake of brevity, the Baptists are the most important of these three things within the context of this video for two primary reasons. Number one, the particular theological belief, which is called decisionism, that I'm speaking on a bit later, is a key distinctive of Baptist theology. Now, while it is also a key distinctive of Pentecostal theology and prominent, although to a lesser extent within Methodist theology, the second reason why the Baptists are the most important of the denominations that I'm talking about in this video is because that I became Christian in a Baptist context and spent about 20 years as a Baptist. So, when I was 9 years old, my father led me through what was essentially the sinner's prayer. I was baptized about a month after that. This happened in April and May of 2005, respectively. So I was 9 years old at the time when this happened. For a majority of my time being a Christian, I would attribute this particular time period of kind of the spring of 2005 as the period of when I became a Christian. While the particular schematics of decisionism, like I said, weren't comprehensible to me when I was 9 years old, being baptized as a believer following a sincere public profession that Jesus is Lord was. Decisionism, or decision theology, is the theological belief that an individual must make a conscious decision to accept and follow Christ to be born again. This looks like responding to a number of prompts such as ask Jesus into your heart, say the sinner's prayer, make a one-time decision for Jesus, ask Jesus into your life. Basically, if you've ever heard any of those slogans or lines, that is what is called decisionism or decision theology. Now, most religious contexts that I have seen have held decision theology not only as normative, but as a primary issue within the Christian faith, which means many Christian denominations that I had seen at least through the majority of my life and that I have been involved in, not only believed this, but basically would say that you're not a Christian if you didn't, make this one-time decision, quote unquote. But in light of understanding that decisionism is just an innovation of the First Great Awakening and the revivalism of only about 300 years ago, I don't believe in decision theology anymore. Now, why I don't may be a video for another time, but here's the thing. When I said Jesus is Lord when I was 9 years old, in kind of a quote-unquote public profession of faith that, the Baptists want, I did believe it. But here's the thing. I believed that sentiment long before my father walked me through the sinner's prayer. As long as I've had the capacity to understand the schematics of the Christian religion, insofar as they were filtered through a Baptist context, I've been a Christian. I may go so far to say that I've been a Christian my entire life. If there was any point in my life when I wasn't a Christian, it was probably when I was espousing a very ancient and very old heresy called Arianism. Given the fact that an Arian Christology can be rationalized from the sacred scriptures, this demonstrates the imperative value of sacred tradition within a right understanding of the Christian faith. But both of those statements are in and of themselves a video for another time, if not multiple videos. What concerned me just as much, if not more, about arriving at an Arian Christology is not only just the fact that I had scripturally rationalized it, that I'd presented this rationalization to my pastor at the time, and he basically had no issue with it at all. He saw it as a purely secondary issue, something online with like eschatology or what color the church carpet should be. I have plenty of friends from different denominations who grew up in them, being Presbyterian, Roman Catholic, Episcopalian, so on and so forth. Few of them have had this one-time conversion story, and they've grown up in these denominations their entire life. And here's the thing, they try their best to be in submission and follow the various distinctives of their theology. So to positively dignify decision theology is to deny the Christian faith of my friends who are in the aforementioned denominations, the Presbyterians, Episcopalians, Roman Catholics, let alone the billions of other Christians over the thousands of years who have lived outside of the Baptist context. In other words, any and all Christians who were alive prior to 1609, much less all the non-Baptist Christians who have lived since then. I'm not going to do that. Who cares about decision theology and how that makes you feel? Their faith is just as legitimate as mine, if not more. Potentially safe from my heretical binge in 2019, I have been a Christian my entire life, without regard to any one-time conversion experience of mine or lack thereof. If you have issue with that, lick dust. To my fellow netizens, honesty and courage.